So my understanding, Senator King, is the reason the money that's sitting in the bank account today is not considered as part of a reserve is because of exactly what you're describing you want to continue, which is to make this money hard to access. And by hard to access, what we mean, us being the legislature and you with this amendment, is you must come back to the legislature and ask for the money. That is, as I understand the rules the rating agencies use, not considered a reserve because legislatures always have the choice to consider many uses of money and to allocate it. So my question is, if you say on the one hand, you're in favor of trying to improve the bond rating by creating a reserve, yet you're introducing an amendment on the other hand, which hits directly at the lever to make this money a reserve, I don't understand how you can argue both positions at once. So please, if you would enlighten me.
Okay, I haven't seen any documentation or anything that you guys have said that this would not work or not. And you know what? The people voted to do what they said they wanted to do, and I feel like all the legislature should have to vote. So, I mean, the idea that we could access this quickly with a special session is possible. And if you're going to access this, I just feel like that all the people, I mean, if the bond people want to come in and you want to have testimony about that and at least give us an informed decision about it and have their testimony about it would have been appropriate and have their stories about it and let them interact with questions with everybody else, and then they came up with that determination, well then, yeah, I would listen to that. But I still come back to the same thing. The people voted this in, they said something, and you know what? Every member should have a decision on this $100 million. That is the overriding issue that I have. And let me tell you something. Conservative budgets lead to surpluses. As we keep saying, we are not going to have a surplus. We have not had conservative budgets, or we would have a surplus. I mean, if you want to really improve our bond rating, we would have a surplus, but we don't have a surplus. Okay? Bad budgeting has led to us not having a surplus. Now, whether that's related to tax cuts and decrease in revenue, increased spending, then that's a debatable question. As I said, Representative Collins, everybody should have a decision. You know, we're in dangerous times financially, you know, like I said, we were promised we were going to make, remember a few months ago, we were promised we were going to have a surplus. But now we're saying something different. So,
I just want to play back the answer I heard to make sure that I've got it correctly. And if I don't state it back to you correctly, please correct me. What I heard in response to my question, how can you say on the one hand you would like to establish a reserve fund, and on the other hand you would like to maintain legislative control over this, which will not establish a reserve fund. What I heard in response is you're really not as interested in the reserve fund as you are as maintaining legislative control because of all the important debates that need to be had, which is a fair position to take, sir. But please don't suggest that your amendment is designed to get the reserve fund when in fact you want to maintain legislative control. There's nothing wrong with that, but just be clear with us. That's what I'm after.
I'm clear, but you know what? If you're going to come in there and say, well, this is what these people say, if you want to come in and say what these people say we need to do, then these people need to come and say that.
Mr. Burke is here. He's the expert.
And Mr. Burke, I've known Mr. Burke, we've been in since 2007. I'm talking about the bond people. I'm talking about analysts outside.
Sat with him and the bond people.
Can I finish my comment, Mr. Chairman?
Of course.
He keeps interrupting, and I'm more than happy to speak. You know, why haven't we heard, you know, Representative Henry talked about Whit Stevens and their communication. You know, we to have a full informed decision, and at the end of their discussion, they may do it. I may actually wind up agreeing with you, but until we have that discussion and that information and that back and forth, then I'm not willing to make that determination. Might happen if they came and spoke and gave testimony and we had more extensive things than just a walk in here. But we just got done with a session where no one said anything about the bond thing. Now we're turning around and coming up and real quickly doing this. That raises concern. I mean, Representative Hendon talked about his discussions with them. I mean, you know, there's a thing about making an informed decision. And at the end of the day, Representative Collins, if they came in and we had more extensive discussion on this, after listening to all that, I may wind up agreeing with you. But right now at this point, I think that we can access it very quickly in a special session. I think we can move it to the long-term reserve fund. Okay? And most importantly, that is a real good threshold for me, is to allow each member to be able to decide not just who has seniority on picking a committee. That is very important. I will agree with that.
President Collins will be done. Thank you. Senator Hudson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.